Negotiations are continuing in Brussels on one of the most controversial trade agreements the European Union has ever seen. The transatlantic trade and investment partnership between the EU and the United States is set to change the global trade environment.
At the moment, we are 500 million consumers in Europe, and there are 300 million consumers in the US, and therefore setting common standards will create a market for 800 million consumers.
The effects of the TTIP agreement will be significant, and the sector it could have the biggest impact on is Europe's thriving automotive industry.
Of course, this is clearly the sector where both parties expect most for and from. This is a sector where they hope that they can go the furthest in mutually recognizing each other's standards. And of course, what they hope is that this will lead to more efficient production and thus lower prices, and hence more cars to be sold on both markets, and that this will also create some extra growth for the sector and hence also extra jobs.
Advocates of the deal say the introduction of TTIP may lead to higher safety standards in the EU and in the US.
In some areas, Europe will have higher standards, in other areas, US. And if we harmonize towards the higher standards on each side of the Atlantic, then it will be good for all of us. And also, if we maintain the full 100% freedom of regulation, we can still regulate even higher standards if we want to do that, or lower if somebody wants to do that. It's a democratic decision. That's an important thing for me.
While the European Commission stands by its proposals that the trade agreement will be good for car industry jobs and production, others have doubts about their evidence.
The study that the Commission has made and has ordered before the negotiations started tells us that there will be some extra growth because of TTIP, that it might create jobs, although the study can't say too much about that. But these studies, based on a certain type of econometric model, have been criticized a lot, also in the economics discipline, especially since the crisis, because these models were unable to predict the crisis, for example.
In light of the recent Volkswagen emissions cheating scandal, environmental regulation has come to the forefront of TTIP debates.
You know, our main concern with the environment and with safety in the TTIP chapter on vehicles is that there is a race to the bottom or a stagnation of legislation to say, oh, well, you know, now that we've agreed we're going to recognize standards, we're going to stop developing them. And that, you know, our ability to regulate is severely limited by this aspect of mutual recognition.